like to call the October 10th meeting of the Mill Creek Township Board of Supervisors to order, and we'll begin with a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll call for public comment on agenda items other than those dealing with development or rezoning applications. Okay, we have minutes from September 26th. If there are no additions or corrections to those, I'll entertain a motion.
I will move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And we have bills for the last 2 weeks. If there are no additions or corrections to those, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next on the agenda, we have a proclamation regarding Fire Prevention Week. And with that, I'll call on Matt Exley.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this week is Fire Prevention Week in the United States, and I'd like you to consider this scenario. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You and your family are fast asleep when you awaken to the smoke alarm sounding and the smell of smoke. What do? Well, if you and your family don't have a plan in place, you could be jeopardizing your safety or even prove deadly. In 2015, 2,560 deaths occurred due to home fires. In a typical home fire, you may have as little as 1 to 2 minutes to escape safely from the time the smoke alarm sounds. That's why home escape planning is so critical in a fire situation. It ensures that everyone in the household knows how to use a small window of time wisely. I'd like to tell you a personal story about why this is so important. In 2012, my youngest, Aiden, had just been born and was just a few hours old. Suddenly, he stopped breathing while in our room at the hospital. I had been a firefighter and EMT for 16 years at that point, and I had done CPR on hundreds of people. But in that moment of my personal emergency, my brain couldn't remember what to do. The only thing that saved my little boy's life was the 16 years of practicing at CPR classes. What my brain couldn't process, my body was able to accomplish through the muscle memory that the practice developed. Developing and practicing a home escape plan is like building muscle memory. It's that muscle memory that will allow you to escape a fire. Home escape planning is one of the most basic but fundamental elements of home fire safety and can truly make a difference between life and death in a fire situation. A home escape plan includes working smoke alarms on every level of the home, in every bedroom, and in your all sleeping areas. It also includes 2 ways out of every room, usually a door and a window, with a clear path to an outside meeting place, like a tree, light pole, or mailbox. It's a safe distance. We'd like you to go home and draw a map of your home with all members of your household, marking 2 exits from each room and a path to the outside from each exit. Practice your home fire drill twice a year. Develop that muscle memory. Conduct one at night and one during the day with everyone in your home, and practice using different ways out. Teach children how to escape on their own in case you can't help them. Make sure that a number of your home is clearly marked and easy for the fire department to find on the outside of your house. Close your doors as you leave. This may slow the spread of smoke, heat, and fire. And we also recommend that you sleep with your door shut, as this prevents the heat and smoke from the fire from entering your room. This helps buy time until the fire department can arrive and help you. Once you get outside, stay outside. Never go back inside a burning building. With that, I'd like to ask the board consider to declare this Fire Prevention Week in Mill Creek Township as per the resolution or the proclamation that we've drawn up.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Excellent presentation.
With that, I'll entertain a motion regarding Resolution 2017 R42, proclaiming this Fire Prevention, or this Fire Prevention Week. Thank you.
Okay. I will move to approve that resolution.
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Mr. Chairman, quick question for Mr. Exley. Matt, I know your department has a very active social media presence. Have you posted this information on Facebook, or is there a way that residents might be able to get a copy of a fire prevention plan, or?
Yes, we offer many materials here. We are also this week, actually all this month, going out with the fire departments to all the schools and daycares in the area to do one-on-one training with our youngsters, and then also Throughout this month, we are posting various fire safety messages and links to things that you can do for your family throughout the month.
And how would folks find you on Facebook?
Just go to Mill Creek OEM, search for Mill Creek OEM on Facebook, and the links will be there.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next, we have bids and quotations. The first is for Highland Park. This is an ADA project, and I'll refer to our Township Engineer, Rick Morris.
Thank you. We solicited 3 quotes for the project. Amendola Development came in at $5,975. Vavala Concrete Construction, $4,822. Finney and Son Concrete did not provide a quote. The work involves 35 lineal feet of 5-foot concrete sidewalk with a level turning area and also a level 10 by 20-foot pad to accommodate an ADA compliant picnic table and waste receptacle. After reviewing the quotes, we're recommending that the low quote provided by Vavala Concrete Construction, the amount of $4,822, be awarded to Vavala.
Okay. Is there a motion to that effect?
Yes, I'll move to approve the quotation for that lowest bidder again.
Vavala.
Vavala, yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Although it's not on the agenda, it's also a quotation for concrete work, and this was just received yesterday, and this is according to the Public Works Director that this is very timely and we need to get this done. So I'm going to bring this up and then call for public comment on this. This is for the placing and finishing of 6,000 square feet of concrete. This is at the pole barn at the recycling center on Millfair Road. The first quote was from, again, Vavala Construction for $18,898. Montagna Concrete Construction, $9,300. And Maya Brothers Incorporated, $6,500. This was in the budget, and this item is going to be evenly shared with Fairview Township. And I would move that Maya Brothers be awarded that contract for $6,500.
Mr. Chairman, just so I'm
Yes.
clear, so our share is $3,250?
Correct. Yes. We are going to receive the invoice and then invoice Fairview Township when the project is completed.
I didn't get a chance to ask you this, because I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but I see there's such a disparity among
I noticed
the
that
bids
also.
there.
Yes.
And they're all professional companies there, and, you know, it's not that I'm concerned that someone's going to be backing out of the bid right there, but were the numbers checked and verified?
They were.
I mean,
And I asked the same question, John,
Okay.
because of the
yeah,
pretty significant disparity
Yeah,
there.
really.
And Maya Brothers stood
Okay.
by their numbers.
Yeah, they're a
They-
very reputable company.
They've done a lot of work
By no means
for
am
us.
I implying anything. They've done a lot of work for us
Yes.
in the past, so.
Yep.
Okay. With that stated, just for the record, I'll move to approve the contract to Maya Brothers.
Okay, we have a motion. I made a motion, I'm looking for a second.
Oh,
I'll second.
Okay, public comment? Mr. Grove?
How about yes?
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have a public hearing on the intermunicipal liquor license transfer for Round 1 Entertainment. And I'm going to refer quickly to our solicitor. Mark, this is just standard operating procedure when there's a transfer of a liquor license.
Correct. We've reviewed the package, and all the documentation is complete. And so now the regulations and law require us to hold a hearing to enable the applicant to provide us with information on the need for the transfer and for the public to respond or provide any comments or questions they may have regarding the application.
Okay, thank you. And with that, someone here representing the applicant.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Mark Kozar. I'm with the law firm of Flaherty and O'Hara. I always like to plug our law firm when I am before groups like this, particularly if I'm on TV. I forgot to comb my hair. Our firm's sole area of practice is liquor law and liquor licensing. We do it throughout the state and across the country. I actually was here a while back for Firebirds intermunicipal transfer to the Mill Creek Mall. Tonight, I'm used to doing these in the evening. This morning, I'm here with Shane Kaji, who is the Senior Vice President of Business Development for Round One Entertainment, Inc. We're here to request Mill Creek Township pass a resolution permitting the intermunicipal transfer of a liquor license into the township pursuant to the revised liquor code, Title 47, Section 461B3, to be used for Round One at a new location in the Mill Creek Mall. As you know, the liquor code permits the PLCB to approve the transfer of a license from any other municipality in Erie County to within another municipality, so long as you, the receiving municipality, issues a resolution permitting that transfer. In order for you to make a decision on a request, let me provide you with a little bit of background on Round One Entertainment. It's a California corporation which is solely owned by Round One Corporation, which is a publicly traded Japanese corporation. Round One has 113 locations in Japan, and in the U.S., Round One owns and operates 17 locations in 7 states with more than 10 more locations in process currently. Round One is a state-of-the-art family entertainment facility offering hundreds of arcade games, bowling, ping pong, darts, and billiards. In addition to entertainment offerings, Round One has a food menu that would please any family member, including appetizers, wings, hot dogs, burgers, and pizza. Round One also would like to serve beer and wine for consumption on the premises as part of a national, consistent national product. All their other locations serve beer and wine for on-premise consumption. They have no desire to sell beer to go, nor will they be getting what's called a wine expanded permit to sell wine bottles to go. They will be located above Mad Mex. If you look at the floor plans I handed out, there's a small area at the top, which is going to be the ground floor area. The top will be the exterior entrance. It'll be adjacent to Mad Mex on the outside. The inside will be an entrance from the mall area. There will be arcade games in this lower level, and then an escalator up to the second floor where the majority of the arcade games, karaoke rooms, and bowling will be located. There will be no alcohol consumption or service in this lower level. The liquor license will be strictly for the second floor area. Having said that, Round One's planning to invest somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 million to build this location out. There will be seating for approximately 162 people, excluding the bowling alley, which would be another 60 seats. Their square footage is going to be slightly over 50,000 square feet. They will employ approximately 55 full and part-time folks who would be hired locally. Alcohol will be served as a complement to the food and entertainment at Round One and not as a main attraction. As I said before, this makes for a consistent national product. Round One's percentage of alcohol sales as a percentage of total sales is less than 10%. Some people would say, well, why do you even do it if it's less than 10%? But it's the idea of having somebody coming from one state to another state going to a Round One saying, well, I can get a beer out in Illinois. Why can't I have a beer here in Pennsylvania? All the folks that work there will receive what's called a responsible alcohol management training. It's a Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement developed training program on responsible alcohol service. It teaches people how to identify fake IDs, how to identify people who are visibly intoxicated, how to watch for pass-offs. In addition, Round One will use a card scanning device to detect fake IDs and underage people. Anybody who tries to buy alcohol will have their ID scanned by these card readers. Just an aside, my colleague, who's a former prosecutor for the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement, was talking to the head of Bureau of Liquor Control about a month ago, and they were talking about carding policies, and we always tell our clients, you know what, use 100% carding and use card scanners. And the reason being is they have a 99% pass rate with respect to the Bureau of Liquor Control enforcement minor stings. Places that don't have 100% carding and don't use card scanners have about a 67% pass rate on BLCE card or underage stings. There will be over 44 security cameras covering all areas of the facility, except of course the restrooms. There will be security personnel in both the upper and lower level. The hours of operation will be 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. 7 days a week. This is, again, consistent with their national norm. They cease selling alcohol at 1:30 a.m. All patrons must be out of the facility by 2 a.m. Round One is a responsible owner making a significant investment in Mill Creek Township, and they will protect this investment by responsible management and well-trained employees. And for these reasons, we request you pass a resolution permitting this transfer. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them, and if I can't, I'm sure Shane can.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Just for clarification.
Sure.
You mentioned that the alcohol is only going to be consumed on the second floor?
Correct.
Nothing down, I'm
No.
assuming that's a bowling alley down there, is that right?
Actually, the bowling alley is on the second.
On the second floor, okay,
Right,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
The smaller area is on the ground floor.
Okay, I got it
and
reversed
then-
there,
yeah.
okay. So should you decide to move alcohol consumption down to the first floor, you'd have to go to the Liquor Control Board. Am I correct on that, Mark?
That's absolutely
Expansion of
correct.
sales
Yes, you would
there.
have to do an extension of premises, but.
Okay,
But
yeah.
from kind of a security type of situation,
Right.
they feel it's better just to confine the consumption to that second
No
floor.
problem there.
That way, if the employees down on the first floor see somebody coming down the steps with a beer in
Yeah,
their hand.
stop them, you know.
Turn them around right
Back
back up
upstairs,
the
yeah.
escalator.
Okay.
The other thing I forgot to mention was, once a person is carded who's over 21, they get a yellow wristband.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the yellow wristband is so that when the employees are walking around looking at who's consuming alcohol, if they see somebody without a yellow
Right.
wristband that has a beer in their hand or wine in their hand,
Mm-hmm.
they'll immediately take it from them.
So folks are carded when they enter the facility?
Pardon me?
So folks are actually carded when they enter the establishment?
Yes.
You're saying even me, I'd get carded? Look at me.
You're close to 20, you look close to 21.
Thanks.
That's right.
What's the timeline for opening the business? Is there an estimated?
July of
July or August.
of
Of
2018.
Of next year?
2018,
Yeah.
okay.
Next summer, yeah.
Okay. Would this, and I'm sure there's a competitor you probably heard of, Hooch and Blotto's, is this kind of like on that same line as,
I'm not familiar with them, but
Bowling alley, video games,
It's similar to Dave and
Dave and
Buster's.
Dave and Buster's,
Which
yeah.
I'm familiar with, yeah.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Just a quick question about the floor plan. So in the Mill Creek, in the mall facility right now near Mad Max and Permanis, there are escalators. So is part of the development plan to actually close off that section to be, is that where the first floor is going to be? Like the escalators are actually going to be enclosed and exclusively for,
There will be
Round
s-
one?
There will be separate escalators going up.
oh, you're constructing a
Yes.
several, okay.
Right.
Anything else? Anyone
got a
from the
point.
public? Thank you.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda,
Do we have to vote on that?
we have to vote on the resolution coming up.
Oh, okay.
Resolution 2017 R41. This is a resolution of the Township of Mill Creek, County of Erie, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, approving the intermunicipal transfer of restaurant liquor license number R5065 into the Township of Mill Creek from the City of Erie. And I believe that this license is coming from the Erie Ale House on 1033 State Street, and then being acquired by Round One Entertainment. Any questions or comments from the board? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
So any concerns from council?
No, no concerns.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2017 R41.
I'll second.
Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
Well, real quick, I think
Yes.
we should really recognize the Cafaro Company in round one. We appreciate
Absolutely.
the investment in
Oh,
Mill Creek Township. We just had the Boscov's grand opening on Saturday.
Yep.
The Cafaros are doing excellent work at the Mill Creek Mall complex to keep that place vibrant, and this would be an excellent addition to that facility, so thank you for your investment, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. It's, when you hear the trend nationwide with the problems with large malls, it's nice to see that our Mill Creek Mall is still thriving.
Very good. Wish you the best on that.
Okay, next we have item number 11, the mobile command post use agreement. This was tabled from our September 26th meeting. I'm going to refer to our solicitor on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would recommend that we continue to table that agreement. We're still continuing discussions with the authority over the format of the agreement, so there's nothing to vote on at this meeting.
Okay?
Okay, well, that's it. I think we need, because I tabled it at the last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to table it again.
I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Okay, I'll table this action until our next meeting in 2 weeks. Would 2 weeks be enough there, Mr. Shaw? Or we need more time? Just table it until we bring it up again?
Why don't we table it indefinitely,
Okay,
and
we'll
then we'll
table.
go from there.
Yeah, I'll modify my motion to include indefinitely.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grow?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I'll vote yes.
Mr. Chairman, just for
Yes.
informational purposes, we'll be meeting with the Airport Authority regarding the Embrace Mill Creek Plan on October 25th. I'll be happy to bring this issue up with the Executive Director directly if that might be helpful to the process.
It'd be nice to get this resolved. I think it's minor
Yeah, I
issues,
think
right?
we're just waiting, at this point, we're waiting to hear back get some comments from them.
Yeah.
So once we receive the comments, hopefully we'll be in a position to make the revisions
Okay.
and bring it back up. So
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
just a part of the process.
All right. Did we vote on that, Cheryl? Yes. Okay. Next, we have action on our proposed ADA transition plan. I'll again refer to our solicitor.
Thank you. The ADA transition plan has been available for public comment for a period, I think, frankly, at this point, in excess of 60 days. We're at the point where we're ready to move forward with it. However, as a result of some changes that were made to the plan due to the inclusion of the Mill Creek Golf and Learning Center, moving forward with that project, and the fact time has passed and some of the work that was in the plan has been completed. We're making some last-minute adjustments to the plan, and also have to are reaching out to the plaintiffs in the Voices lawsuit, making sure that they're okay with the changes to the plan. Once they indicate they're okay, we'll then bring the plan forward for formal approval. So I would, at this point, recommend tabling the action on the proposed ADA transition plan until the next meeting.
Okay, so any changes that we are proposing or any projects that have been completed would be removed from the plan?
They would just be reflected in that,
Okay, that
that
they've been
matter within
completed.
the plan, yes.
Okay. Well, our agenda calls for action, then, Mark, would you just suggest that we table that then?
Yeah, I would just
until-
I would recommend that you table it until the next meeting. We'll be ready at the next meeting for
Okay,
sure.
good.
I'll move to,
Table for 2 weeks?
yeah.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grow?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have on the agenda, Fire and EMS Commission recommendation. This is for a new, or maintenance on the roof of the Westlake Fire Department. And first, I'll refer to Matt Exley on that.
Gentlemen, at the at the meeting of the Mill Creek Township Fire and Emergency Services Commission that occurred on August 17th, 2017, the Finance Committee reported that they have received a request for emergency funding to replace the roof at Station 48 of the Westlake Fire Department located at 3763 Westlake Road. It was voted on and passed on to recommend that Mill Creek Township provide emergency capital funding to Westlake Fire Department to be utilized to replace that roof. The estimated cost of replacement is $18,850 by a company called U First Roofing Solutions out of Kingsman, Ohio. The Commission did recognize that while the roof replacement is typically not an emergency expense and should be budgeted for, the situation at hand currently requires emergency measures to ensure that further failure does not occur during the upcoming winter.
Okay. I know, John, you were at the meeting, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have any comments regarding the recommendation?
Well, it appears to be an emergency situation. I'm not going to argue that point. I think something possibly creative as far as how do we solve this problem here. And as many of the folks out here know, we created a fire commission, or it started earlier this year, to help our fire departments with funding and staffing situations that they deal with. This is one of the funding problems that they're coming across with declining revenues coming in from donations from the public. Of course, they have equipment purchases too that are going on. You'll see, I think, as time goes on here, if I'm understanding what our purpose and mission of the Fire Commission is that eventually you'll see the township paying for a lot of the expenses, the operational expenses for the individual fire departments, such as something like this. Will we eventually take over the buildings? I don't know. I'm not going to conjecture on that right now. As far as future purchases of equipment that you might see, it's probably heading that direction. It's probably a very prudent effort to do it that way, rather than have the fire departments purchase the equipment. We could do that on their behalf and probably get a better pricing on it through CoStars or whatever purchasing company we go through. So this is one of the transitions you might see. So this might be just one of other requests coming in through the Fire Commission. This is a recommendation of the Commission itself. Mr. Exley is merely bringing up there as a representative of the Fire Commission, bringing up that request, that recommendation. So that's pretty much what I have to say about it right now. So thank you.
Thank you, John. I'd like to commend the commission. This has been talked about since our last study, which was, I don't know, 15 years ago?
Something like that. Was
2006.
2006, yeah,
okay, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
About finding a way to have the various fire departments commit to their kind of like a joint budget, so that the funds, whether it's township funding through our local services tax or the various grants that are available to the fire departments, that they work together to find a way to get the, like you said, John, get the biggest bang for your buck, and so that duplicate purchases are not made. In this case, this is a new roof, or maintenance on a roof, and like I say, I'd like to commend the commission for coming through and saying that, yes, that they all agree that this needs to be done, and that funds should be made available to Westlake Fire Department to have that work done. So that's something that we really haven't seen a lot of in the past, and I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. Any comments, John?
Do you have, Mr. Exley?
I'll just, if you don't have any other questions for me, we have a large emergency in the township I need to leave for.
Well, you may be excused.
Yes. 929.
Oh,
Read and tapped out.
Oh, all right, that's okay. Now, they're not calling for action specifically today, but this is the recommendation, and I'll defer to the board here. Would it be the board's preference to act on this at our next meeting? I know that this also is timely, that they would like to get this done before weather turns too bad. Discuss just how that funding is going to be made available, if in fact that is the wishes of the board.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I just kind of echo your comments about the Fire Emergency Services Commission. We did task these folks with creating kind of joint priorities, and this is the first joint priority they've recommended for us to fund. We do have, and I think residents should be aware, we collect what's called a local services tax that we do set aside for public safety projects and capital improvements and operating costs. I would make a motion to direct our treasurer, Mark Zuszewski, to develop some kind of a funding proposal out of the LST funding for this board to consider at the next meeting.
And just so folks know, and John, you mentioned the LST and that it goes for public safety. The vast majority of that, what, Mark, probably 75% goes to the volunteer fire departments?
At least that much, yes.
Yeah, maybe more goes to the volunteer fire services. So, so if we're talking about a funding proposal utilizing LST money, I think that's a prudent way to approach this. Is that a motion then?
I would make a motion directing the treasurer and also our emergency management coordinator to develop a recommendation for the board for our next meeting to finance this, or to fund this $18,850 request.
Okay.
Okay, I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay. Just a little note for the record here, you saw Matt leave early, rather rapidly. Called out on a 929 call. That's the township employees fire department that assist, and there was a structure fire somewhere up in Kearsarge area. I didn't remember where it was, but that's why you seen him leave. He wasn't mad or anything like, he had to get out of here, go answer the call, so.
Oh, that's not my house.
No, I don't think it was.
Okay, and next we have a proposed agreement with Anthony Ferranda. This is regarding technical guidance regarding our noise ordinance. And again, I'll refer to our solicitor.
Sure, this is an agreement with Mr. Ferranda, who is a consultant with respect to how to use the decibel meters. He'll be retained to help us through the process of selecting and deciding on the meter to use, as well as training on the meters, training the police department on the meters that are ultimately selected. Under the agreement, which is through November 30th, 2017, the fee for his services would be $1,500. He's been working with us throughout the process of the passage of the noise ordinance, and we found him to be very professional and very helpful and knowledgeable with respect to these matters. So I would recommend that the board approve this agreement.
Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I'll move to approve that agreement there with Mr. Ferranda.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
I found it very helpful in all of this, as Matt said.
There's
Or as,
a
Mark Shaw said.
demonstration coming up?
I believe so, yeah. And we'll get something scheduled for the police department.
Next, we have change order number 3 for the Mill Creek Township Sidewalk Accessibility Project Phase 4. And I'll refer back to our engineer on that.
The original contract was awarded to Vavala Concrete Construction on June 27th of this year for the price of $122,888. Since then, we've had 2 change orders, which adjusted the contract price to $179,838 even. This change order is necessary to include additional charges that are necessary to complete the reconfiguration of ramps at Allison Avenue and Vanessa Lane, as well as additions and deductions of different quantities, you know, the lineal feet of sidewalk, the square feet of this and that. So altogether, when you add the pluses and the minuses, change order number 3 is in the amount of $942 as an addition. So including change order number 3, the adjusted contract price would be $180,780, and we recommend approval of change order number 3.
Okay. Is there a motion to that effect?
Mr. Morris, I don't have your budget in front of me, but is this the total updated contract amount of $187.80, is that still within our CDBG allocation, or do we need to dip
Yes.
into general funds for this?
Yes, still covered under the current CDBG funding.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 3.
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. And back to you, Rick, for the non-substantial land development plan amendment for Creative Imprints.
Creative Imprints Land Development Plan was approved at the meeting of May 27th 2003, and they've had other amendments. The most recent was February 14th of 2017. However, they didn't construct it to the approved amended land development plan. They had a major change. So this is before you today to reflect that change that included reconfiguration of the stormwater detention basin and the addition of 2 parking spaces north of some existing spaces. We recommend approval of it.
Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. Morris, I guess I'm a little confused. You said they didn't construct it to their amended land development plan?
No, they
And you,
decided to put a
and you called it
garage-
a major change, but this is considered a non-substantial sub-land development amendment.
Right, they decided to put a garage door on the west side, and that's where the stormwater management flood detention basin was to extend to. So they had to acquire the volume of the detention pond in other areas and forego that area that would be blocking the entrance to that garage door on the west side. And they've done that successfully.
So this right here will finish off this project, right? No,
Not completely. We still need to have the flood detention basin alterations approved by Hill Engineering, well, GPI.
okay. They need to get out there and inspect them. Are
Right.
they ready for an inspection, do you know?
I don't know what the status of that is.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve this non-substantial amendment to the land development plan for Creative Imprints.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Mr. Morris, just,
Yes.
is it fair to say the developer likely should have filed this before constructing in violation of the land
It
development
is.
plan?
Yes, it is.
Is it common practice for us to allow developers to develop inconsistently with the land development plan?
Well, we really don't know what's going on sometimes. The stormwater management work was not being done, so there was no inspector out there except for building inspectors from BIU, and we had no knowledge that this was a change until it was completed.
So is this caught by our inspector after the fact?
I'm not really sure exactly how it played out. But there's a change because obviously the access through the garage door would have been blocked by the detention basin.
Right, but that
as
change should
originally
have come to the
designed.
board for approval, shouldn't it have?
Yes. Yeah. Ideally, they should have come before us before they made that alteration. True.
Okay. Stormwater management plan and maintenance agreement for Dufala residents. This is Greg and Katie Dufala, developer. Back to you, Rick.
The financial security is held by Marquette Savings Bank check number 166782 in the amount of $69,937. They're nearing completion, but they have a number of things that are not completed yet, or a couple of them at least, which includes vegetative cover and an irrigation system that isn't fully complete. So we're recommending reduction to $10,000.
Okay, this is on the agenda as a stormwater management plan, so, but what we're actually doing is addressing their security?
Correct. It
Okay.
should be listed as a stormwater reduction in
Gotcha.
stormwater management, right.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve this
Reduction.
get the right terminology on it.
Okay.
Reduction to the specified amount.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grove?
Mr. Chairman, should we have public comment due to the
Yeah,
misprint on the?
probably not a bad idea since it's a release of or a reduction in security. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Grove?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have request for financial security release. This is for the Christie Family Chiropractic. Rick?
Well, this is actually a little different too. This is actually a stormwater
Okay,
plan.
this is where we got mixed up.
Right.
Yeah, it
it's
looks like
mixed up.
17 and 18
We got
swapped.
All right.
Correct.
This is not a release. This is the stormwater maintenance agreement.
Correct, along with the approval of the stormwater management plan.
Okay.
Everything has been completed on the approved township form. The developer is going to own and maintain the stormwater facilities, and we recommend approval of both the stormwater management plan as well as the stormwater management maintenance agreement.
Gotcha. We'll do the same thing then. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the stormwater maintenance agreement and stormwater management plan for Christie Family Chiropractic.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We'll call for public comment. Mr. Grow?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Communications. Mark, have anything?
No, nothing this week.
John?
Yes, I got a couple of little things here. This comes from Police Chief Scott Height, public meeting request for today. I request the Mill Creek Board of Supervisors approve the following action items at public meeting October 10th. Number 1, permission for Sergeant Anthony Chimera to attend the Sobriety Checkpoint Supervisory Training Seminar to be held on November 17th in Meadville, PA at the Northwest Training Center of Pennsylvania State Police. Travel will be by department vehicle. There are no additional costs associated with this training. And I put that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grow?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Second one is permission for Lieutenant Michael Little and Corporal Robert Bucko to attend a seminar entitled Intimate Partner Violence, being held locally at SafeNet on October 11th between 8 o'clock in the morning to, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Registration for the seminar is $75 per officer. This cost is an eligible expense for current SafeNet grant previously awarded to our department. There are no additional costs anticipated for this training. Put that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
And then permission for the Westridge Fire Department Special Fire Police to assist with pedestrian traffic at the crosswalk in front of the Browns Farm on Sterretania Road. The services were requested by the MYAA and will be held on October 14th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. If approved, a copy of that request is attached with this here. So I put that in the form of a motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Oh, Mr. Grow, I have a quick question for you. Would this request fall under a special event issue? We should be referring MOIA to Mr. X's office, or?
I believe that was, but I can double check on that there. That is coming up on this Saturday. This Saturday is when
I
that
wasn't
is.
sure. I'll second up.
Yeah, but I'll check with Matt actually.
I suspect that's a cross-country event. That sounds like the right
School
time
event?
frame.
Yeah, oh yeah, Brown, yeah, that's right, yeah. So, but I'll double check just to verify that, let you know, so.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay, just one other little thing I saw in the news here that the Mill Creek Company, Erie's Magnetics, is celebrating 75 years here in Mill Creek Township. Our congratulations to them. Hope for another 75 years here in Mill Creek. So nice to see that.
Yes, it is.
Yep,
Okay.
that's all I have.
I have a few things. First, from Public Works Director Gary Snyder. Would like permission to send Joe Yatzer, Mark Wells, Sean Kern, and Gary to the 2017 Safety Compliance Seminar. There's no cost to the township, and I'll move approval of that.
Okay.
What's the date of the seminar?
October 4th. This is an after the fact. We have another one of those coming up also.
I'll second that.
We need something done about that. Mr. Grow?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And this one also from Gary Snyder. This is in regard to road surface management class. This is free of charge for Sean Kern, Kurt Hall, and Dean Carlson. This is an LTAP class being held at Clarion University, or was held on yesterday. And after the fact, I'll move approval.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Mr. Grow?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
If I could just make one quick comment, just for general note. Many of these LTAP classes, they pop up It's
We
like
do.
next week, and these are in between our meeting times, so it's not that somebody's falling asleep in their job, they're not. It's the fact that these things last week probably popped in there, hey, let's take the class. We didn't know about it until then, so that's why we're doing these things retroactively. So that happens quite often with LTAP, unfortunately.
And next, we have also, this is from Mark Wells in the sewer department. He would like permission to send Keith Lawson and Rick Hoffman to Arc Flash training. This is October 19th. It's going to be held at the Height Company on West 15th Street from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at a cost of $325 per person. Both Rick and Keith have been building control panels for the department sanitary lift stations and troubleshooting them when there's a problem. The work they do oftentimes happens during inclement weather, and there's a greater potential for arc flash incidents. For those reasons, Mark would like to send both Keith and Rick to this training, and it is in the 2017 continuing education budget. So I would move approval of that training.
And I will second that.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have the ICADO convention. This is going to be held October 26th at Nick's Place, and permission is sought to send myself, John Groh, Mark Sikteski, and Mark Shaw to the convention at a cost of $30 each, and I would move approval of that expense.
Okay. I will second that. I would like to make one note here. It shows me going to the dinner also. I'm only going to be going to the training during the day. I will not be attending the dinner, as I have another event to go to later that day.
So that would be $10 instead of
$10
$30.
instead of 30.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I just want to make that note.
Okay. Motion, is there a second?
I think I second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Groh?
Vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next, I'm seeking permission from the board to attend the PSAT's Fall Forum. This is going to be held in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, October 30th through November 1st. And
Nice.
Although-
You know what Wellsboro is?
pretty much in the middle of nowhere, but
Pretty
it's-
much, but
yeah.
it's beautiful there.
Yes, this time of year, well, hopefully October 30th, it'll still be nice.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion.
You looking for a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve that request.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And there is no cost to the township on that. PSATs will be picking up the tab. And on the same note, looking for permission from the board for myself to attend the PSAT Standing Committee meetings and the quarterly executive board meetings on November 13th through the 15th. This is in York, Pennsylvania. Again, all expenses are being paid by PSATs.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve that request.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Groh?
I vote yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. We had executive sessions on September 28th, October 5th, and October the 9th. And Halloween trick or treat. I'm going to guess that that's going to be held on Halloween from 6 until 8. Okay.
Tuesday, October 31st.
And with that, Mr. Morgan, anything?
No, I did want to ask Mr. Shaw, we had some discussion at the last meeting about travel and training budgets and whether or not the board needs to retroactively approve things. Any discovery on your part as far as?
I still have someone looking at that, so hopefully I'll have something here shortly,
and
before you finish your budget process, so that you can work it in if it's okay.
Thanks, Mark. The only thing I have, Mr. Chairman, is want to make sure that the public's aware of the Embrace Mill Creek project moving forward. We announced a few weeks ago that the project website, embracemillcreek.com, is now available. We also have an online survey currently available. We've had about 600 responses so far, which is great. Survey is going to be available for another week and a half until next Friday. So if any residents out there who would like to express their views on the township to us through the survey, please visit embracemillcreek.com.
If I could add, Mr. Morgan, also the survey, if you had signed up to receive Embrace Mill Creek information via email, you should have received an email indicating that, the survey was available. There's a link to click on, and you can enter the survey that way, so.
Absolutely.
Anything else, John?
That's all for me.
And we'll refer to our student ambassador, Lily, if you have any kind of a report for us this week.
Good morning. Over the weekend, we held homecoming at McDowell, so we had the parade, the game, and the dance, and everything went smoothly. And then tomorrow, we're also hosting PSAT and ASVAB testing at the high school.
Okay, thank you. It was a very nice parade, by the way.
Yeah.
Very good, all attended. Attorney Shaw?
I don't have
Anything
anything
else?
to add.
Cheryl?
I have the September Right to Know report, and we received 7 requests, and it looks like they're all completed for this month. We had 3 denials, 1 was granted, and 2 partial denials. A total of 23 hours were spent in completing those requests.
And this is available in the administrative offices, if anyone would like to take a look at that. And they don't have to file a right to know request to look at the right to know request report.
Cheryl, just for clarification, you said 23 hours? Did I, or did you say 3 hours?
23 hours.
23 hours of your time as
Various staff.
various staff?
Yes.
Because it's not just, yeah, okay,
This was 23 hours of my time.
of your time.
And
Oh.
then various staff hours in addition to that when they
Right,
submit information to me.
right. Just pointing out the significance of how much time goes into right-to-know requests. It's not something taken lightly.
Thank you, Cheryl. Anything else? Mr. Morris?
Chuck? Yes. I have the September report for the code enforcement summary. For the month of September, we sent property maintenance complaints of the total of 25 to BIU. In the month, there was 18 that were actively or active files. For mobile home parks, there were 18. Other property maintenance complaints, special attention or more research that we needed to do for the complaints. There were 14 of those. There are 11 that were open complaint files with citations waiting, please. We had 5 that were complaints waiting for the 21-day appeal period to elapse. For a total of 49 complaints that were closed for the month. So with all of those and with a total for the year as of the end of September that we have handled 300 property maintenance complaints. Going to zoning, the office handled 4 zoning complaints, and then there were 19 temporary signs that were in the right-of-way that were removed. So that's the September report for the code enforcement.
They were various temporary signs.
Various temporary signs.
Okay.
Well, as long as you're here, Chuck, would you like to do the building report also?
More than glad to. For the month of September, we had 3 residential permits issued for a total of estimated cost of $217,000. And for the commercial, our biggest permit issued was for RVs down on West 12th Street. That was $800,000. But we had 14 permits issued for a total of commercial permits for a total of $1,227,300. And that would give us a total for the estimated cost of not only the residential and commercial of $1,444,300. And then that would give us in permit fees, zoning permit fees that we received was $5,700. And both of these reports can be obtained in the zoning office on the second floor.
Thank you, Chuck. Citizens to be heard.
William Stewart and 4505 Tulane. I've been here several times for the same problem. My yard's prone to flooding. As a matter of fact, I've flooded 32 times. Earlier, late spring, the township came up and they started working on my problem. And I understood they were going to come back. They had to interrupt their work because of the paving. Okay, we're going to be plowing snow pretty soon, so You know, if they don't come up, then we'll be going into snow plowing and then back to paving, and, you know, so it's not going to get done. But as a result of the last flooding, my pool liner floated because there was so much water in the yard, it floated the liner. And I had to have a pool company come out twice and make repairs to it. And that, I have about $500 in that so far. My big concern is driveway. I have about 32 feet of driveway that has been ruined by this flooding. Like I said, 32 times water has rushed against the driveway, and as a result, it's cracked, it's fallen, it's shifting. It's to the point where it's almost non-usable. What responsibility does the township have? Because this came out of their sewer. They've been notified numerous times over the years to correct this, and they've done nothing. And I still got to put up with it. You know, how much, you know, do I got to endure?
Bill, have you noticed any, of course, maybe we haven't had any storms since our crews were out to clean out the end of the pipe?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had any storms since then.
Yeah, I flooded after that because I called Rick Morris, and while it was raining, and he said, "Hey, is it still flooding?" I go, "Yep." So it's just not enough capacity. I mean, they're draining a whole cul-de-sac, 8 or 10 homes, into a little pipe this big. Well, you know, it's not going to hold it.
Rick,
But
I know that you've had conversations with Ann. Ann's been out there, right? And you've
I've been out there.
yeah,
I've been out
Rick's been very, very good on this whole situation.
Do we have plans to make improvements to that
We
system?
did, we have, and obviously that isn't enough. So we need to probably create a swale over top of the pipe to try to direct that storm water that comes, and we're asking to make a 90-degree bend. And when it rushes so fast, it doesn't want to make the 90-degree bend. It wants to go straight into Bill's yard. So we need to construct some sort of a swale over top of the pipe, and for that we'll need an easement, we'll need to remove some trees. It's not an easy thing to do, but it can be done.
Well, as Bill says, it won't be too long now before the weather turns sour. We were just paving up until a week ago.
Yeah, no, I understand.
But I would strongly urge our engineering department to get what easements we need, complete the plans for the project so this can
Well,
get underway.
this
Mr. Morris.
involves 3 other people, you know, properties, and I've talked to them, and they'll fully cooperate. No
For
problem.
the easements and the tree removal?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Morris, this pipe or water course you're talking about, is it actual municipal stormwater system?
Yes.
Or is it,
Yes, it is.
what's the estimated cost of the improvement you're suggesting?
It'd be minimal.
There's a lot of different ways this could be handled. Sandbags, cement, rocks, something just to build it up to channel the water. The swale's already there, but it's been neglected for so many years it's filling in. It just got to be redug. But then a couple trees have grown, so they're going to have to be cut.
So what, your recommended improvement, Rick, what's the estimated cost? Is it man hours, is it materials?
Maybe $2,000 or $3,000.
So right now, the issue is easements. Easements and tree removal.
Correct. And then construct a swale over top
Okay.
to handle the overflow, because the pipe only handles so much. And the hydraulics are such that it leaves that pipe right in the back of Bill's yard.
Gotcha. Bill, we'll have to stay on this and make sure that it gets done.
Okay.
We have some good weather, hopefully between now and the snow plowing
The snow,
season,
yeah.
right? But we can get in there and get this, at least the easement done and the trees removed.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Morris, does this project require design from the engineering department, or?
Minimal. I mean, it's basically easements, as well as a lot of work from streets to cut trees, remove the roots. And then
Those are
construct
large
a swale.
trees. We wouldn't be doing that ourselves.
Probably not.
No, we would have that done.
Yeah, they're about a foot in diameter.
Just one tree, Bill? One large one, yes, okay. Okay, anyone else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 10:30.
I'll move to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
You're watching the Mill Creek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.